To discuss news releases and events for the week ahead, I'm joined by John Plassard, the Director of Louis Capital Markets in Geneva. So John, we've come to the end of the first trading week for 2012. In terms of market conditions and sentiment, they are as expected, as euro weakening continues and the European sovereign debt situation continues to take a drag on global growth. What about next week though? Where should our attention be drawn?
First of all, we have the kickoff of earnings season with Alcoa when it releases its result after the bell on Monday. And it's quite a good barometer of the market. And on Monday also we will have an important fact. It's the meeting between Angela Merkel and Nicolas Sarkozy in Berlin. You know that Eurozone leaders continue efforts to get a grip on the region's long-running debt crisis. And Merkel and Sarkozy will hold I think it's a working lunch centered on preparing for upcoming meeting. The next important meeting will be at the end of January. So we have also another thing. If we look at the U.S. side, it's the release of the Beige Book. Last thing is Friday. Next Friday will be the release of the U.S. Michigan Consumer Confidence, and that's a really good indication of the sentiment in the U.S.
In terms of potential market-shaking news, there's a lot coming out of Europe, including a number of data releases from France and Germany and big debt sales by Spain and Italy. In line with that, there's also the ECB rate decision and the press conference held by Mario Draghi. What are you expecting? Any real developments to be put together?
No, unfortunately not. I think the European crisis have never really abated. It means that we will have this problem will at least be there for several months. There is so many questions and question marks still that they cannot find a solution in that month. I think we're talking about Eurobonds. Germany doesn't want to go in that question, and so many fiscal questions also are still there. So in fact, I don't expect very much from those meetings in January.
Most analysts are expecting the Bank of England to leave policy unchanged next week, although an expansion of quantitative easing in the first quarter of 2012 also seems to be increasingly likely. What's your opinion on the matter?
They will not do anything on the first quarter because, in fact, they are fighting against two things now. First thing is the growth. I remind you that there is no growth in the UK as well as in the Eurozone. But we start to see a little bit of inflation last year in the UK. So I think they're a little bit afraid of this inflation, and they are willing to fight against this inflation without doing anything and seeing what is going to happen in the 3 next months.
To end, let's move away from Europe to the US, another important focus point. The Federal Reserve will be releasing its monthly Beige Book report, as you mentioned earlier. Should we expect to see even more doom and gloom here?
I don't think so. Because if you see the last economic release in the U.S., they were not so bad. And as I told you, if we see the last release of the Beige Book, it showed a moderate economic growth. So I don't expect that the report of the Fed will give us any bad news.
Thank you very much, John. I'm afraid we've run out of time. Now, to keep you updated on all the events and market news discussed in this interview, stay tuned to Dukascopy TV. Goodbye for now.